Okay, so this is the next part of modeling for this winter set library. In the previous tutorial, we just traced the outline of the elevation or the front face of the library, and now we're going to try and bring it in to Photoshop so we can better understand, or bring it into Rhino so we can actually start modeling this and make it look like a real building. So I'm going to File, Import, navigate to my file. And again, units don't matter because we were just tracing a picture. So there was no actual units that mattered. So hit OK. And as you can see, it comes in super tiny. So the two things we need to do is rotate this. Right now it's laying on the ground, going in this direction. We need it to go up on this face, not on the ground here. So first thing I'm going to do is rotate it. Type rotate. And you can either turn on your ortho, that'll probably be easiest, and click and click. So using ortho and rotate, I was able to rotate it so that it was going along with this side. And the next thing I'm going to do is rotate it so that it's facing up. So I'm going to have to do that in another view. The best way to do that is to zoom in to the side, which will be for me the front. It might be different for some of you. And type rotate again. And I have my O snaps turned on. So that would be this button. If you can't snap to anything, this button might be clicked on. So O snap, ortho snap, and disable. So I'm going to grab this spot, and click again. So I'm able to do those 90-degree turns really accurately because I keep my ortho on, and that means it will only go perpendicular or parallel. So ortho's a good helper for these type of things. The next thing I want to do is make my facade be as long as this is. So I'm going to move in my right side. It might be different for some of you. This corner to this corner. And now I'm going to scale it. So with it all selected, I will type scale and then grab this point and now grab the end of the facade, our line drawing we just did, and now it's asking for a second reference point. That's going to be this line over here. And as you can see, there's a very large discrepancy of the height, because I think you might remember that I just guessed at the height last time. I was just like, okay, it's 14 feet. So clearly there's like differences about what the height really is. So great. This is what we need to continue to make changes to our building. So step one, I really want to make sure that this is on the right side. So I'm just going to grab it right now. I know this is like the front because of the way we modeled it. I'm just going to grab this and move it to the front. So take that, click, click. I don't actually need the roof right now. So what I'm going to do is type explode. That's going to explode everything into a bunch of little parts. I am also going to, wait, before I do that, I'm going to lock this facade. And this actually happened to another student as well, but because of the tracing, it didn't happen exactly right. The best thing to do is to remodel this. So what I'm going to do, I'll work on that later, but for now I'm just going to grab the facade and type lock. And that means I'll be able to see the lines, but it won't interrupt and I won't accidentally ever click on it. So again, I'm going to grab all our lines, type explode, and now I can easily just delete one surface at a time. So I've cleared out the roof. What I want to do now is grab in the side view, any side view really, and from this side, moving towards the left, I'm going to select all the walls. So if you're moving from left to right, it will only select what you go completely over. But again, moving towards the left, anything you touch will be selected. So this is what I want. I'm going to type join. So now we have these walls selected, and I want them to be taller. So I'm going to type scale 1D. The reason I'm scaling it in one direction is I only want in the Z direction for the scale to increase. If you scale generally, it scales proportionate in all three axes, and even 2D, that one's available too. That will only scale in two directions. So grabbing this point to this point and moving it up, now we have the same scale. So using the view that shows up with your facade, I'm going to just trace I'm going to unlock and grab my two curves. By doing that, I can type planar surf. I actually don't need this one. So I can grab this outer square and type planar surf. Unfortunately, I wanted it to cut through, but that's okay. I can just make a hole. Why are you not working? So I wanted to do this. I want to extrude the surface back. And now I've got a very good assessment of what the sort of library entrance looks like, because it had this sort of thing above it. Right now I have something weird happening with the facade though. So again, I'm gonna go back in and maybe redo this. So again, I want to just affect this wall, so I'm gonna type explode. Before I do that, I'm going to lock this. and then type explode. Now everything is individually surfaced. For right now, I don't really know. I'm going to also grab the floor and lock that so I don't accidentally select it. But for the most part, this part is, oops. For the most part, it's this side that's sticking out, and I really do just want it to line up. So once it's exploded, I can turn on these points, grab them, and move them over. And I'm just going to do them generally lined up because this is mostly because I'm being really particular. So again, because I turned on this points on after I exploded it, I'm able to adjust the surfaces individually. So as you can see, this one didn't get adjusted. I'm going to grab it, turn the points on, and then move. I'm going to unlock again. And the floor is a little off, but for now it's okay because we have the facade firmly on the outside of our actual building. So the next thing to do is really just go ahead and start modeling based on what we see from pictures, right? So at this point, we have sort of exhausted our ability to use any more drawings. So now we're going to extrude. I want to extrude this surface a little bit because it actually comes out, right? It's just a little bit. Make it that. I want to make these windows. So again, I would keep going back to my montage. So this door, we have to keep that in mind, but for the most part, it's window, window, window. And each window will have 3 paned windows in it, but we'll deal with that later. This door is important. And then windows. So at this point, because the elevation isn't going to help us anymore, we're going to go ahead and import a plan into here that will serve as some guidance. So to sort of get the plan in, we're going to use it as a background bitmap. And that will import a picture in, and we won't be able to manipulate it. It will just sort of serve in the background as a guide. So what I'm going to do is place a background bitmap. So under View and Background Bitmap, I'm going to type Place. I'm going to go to my JPEG that was from the Skybox, the interior diagram. Hit Open. And I'm just gonna place it. It's gonna be wrong anyways. So I'm just gonna click once and click again, and it's gonna ask me to move it, and I'm gonna say yes. Let's move this corner down to here. And it's asking me, do I want to scale? Yes, I do. Click here, and click here. So now I have used my tools up here. I have moved it. I have scaled it. Yes, I want it visible. Now I can hit enter, and I will be able to work over top of this, not selecting what's underneath it, but using it as a guide to model with. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is start to make And this isn't an ideal way to work because you can see like it gets kind of hard to understand what's happening. So I almost always turn it off as soon as possible. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab these two walls, and I'm going to sort of grab the other surrounding walls, and I'm going to join them and then offset surf. And what this is doing is it's giving these walls real thickness. So again, up here, this is important. I want my distance to be 8 inches. This is just a standard sort of exterior wall dimension. I want it to be solid, and I want, see how the arrows are coming off the side? I want them to all go inside, because when I hit this button, it will extrude in that direction. I don't want the extrusion to go out. I want it to go inside. So I'm going to click on flip all and then hit enter. And if you zoom in, you can see that it all has, wait, creating meshes. What happened? Oh, well, it did it, but I accidentally clicked off my solid button, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to Control Z back, grab my surface again, offset surf, flip all, solid, I want to be yes, and then hit enter. Now you can see that the wall is there, and that's exactly what I want. So now I need to figure out, I think, you know, this is a pretty good estimation of where the windows are, but, you know, we have this door to contend with. So what I'm going to do is the same thing we did in Illustrator and just draw lines here and then copy to sort of indicate where these elements are. So we need to know where they are in both plan and section. So, or elevation. So where you can see now, this is going to tell me exactly where these locations are. However, this information tells me about how high up they are. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line between these two. Grab it, move it up. Looking at the wrong side, sorry. I'm going to set my view to left so that I'm actually looking at the front. So now this is where the box should be. I'm going to copy this line up to here again and type rectangle. And now I have really accurately placed where my window locations are. The good thing is this will be probably the same size for all of them, so we'll be able to just copy this box down. So once I have one of my boxes, I'm going to type make hole, click on my wall I just drew, and pull through. So again, I have my curve selected, make hole, select the surface or poly surface, which will be this, and I'm just going to pull it all the way through. And there you go, we have a window. Wonderful. So again, I'm just going to grab the rectangle I just drew and copy it down to what is essentially the same kind of window. This one has a door, so it'll be different, but we'll just move it back down to here. Grab it, type make hole. That's pretty good. Now let's try and deal with this one over in the center. I'm going to copy from here to here. So what's important to understand is that this one has a door. So I'm going to go back and use our scale 1D. So type scale 1D and just make this rectangle smaller. You could also actually draw a new rectangle, but this is just an easier way to do that. And now I'm going to do make hole again. So in this view, there you go. Those are the 3 windows there. We have to make a door here, but we'll come back to that. Now let's go ahead and try and figure out these. So this is the door. We'll ignore that for now. For now, it's good. Now let's do these 2 windows. So I'm going to, in plan view, copy over to there. And again, we'll have another door here, but for now, we'll just leave it there. So again, we're gonna just scale 1D and make this rectangle smaller. As you can tell, I'm being very general about how this will be built. And then this one's fine. I can grab both of these. Oops, so it's all up in the sky. That's okay, because we have these points of references. I'm just gonna move it somewhere to the ground, and then in plan view, come back and readjust. So this is where snapping can get you wrong. It was trying to go somewhere that I didn't want it to. So I'll move it there for now. So I'm gonna grab these guys, type make hole, select the surface, pull it back, 2 holes. So this is a very good approximation of what you should be doing on the facade. Lastly, we're gonna do doors. Okay, so this is interesting. This is good to see. So when I just pulled back, I pulled the make hole all the way through and it made 2 holes here. I don't want that. Obviously those holes are not on the other side. So what I'm gonna do instead is when I make hole, I can't go all the way through. Instead, I only want it to go through this wall. So that's a kind of an important thing to understand about this command. So next I'm gonna put this door in and then put a roof on. And for the remaining part of the assignment, you need to go find pictures. And it doesn't even really matter. I will talk about it briefly, but you can use the plan the same way we've been using it to sort of generate these apertures. So what I want for by the end of class on Tuesday is everyone to be able to have all the windows and doors put in. And we'll, again, not talk about this for now. So again, a door. A door is usually, I'm going to draw it in the side view, a rectangle that is 3 feet by 7 feet. That's just the typical door, so that's what I'm going to draw. So when you type rectangle and click to start, you can actually type in dimensions. So I've clicked here, and now it's asking me where I want to go. So I'm going to use Shift at, so making the at symbol. That's really important. The next command will be 3 feet, comma, 7 feet. So that is a 3 foot by 7 foot door. Their door might be bigger. I kind of feel like this whole model is too big, but we'll see. So it is somewhere in here, like there. So I'm going to go to my plan and see what happened. Some doors are different. They're all different sizes. But nope, that's about right. It might be a little taller, but this is how big the door is. So again, I've drawn a rectangle, and in plan view, I've lined that rectangle up along with the bitmap underneath my door. So the last thing I want to do is use it to make hole. So that's the door. And then if you look at the picture, you see that it has this little door and these other windows above. So we'll do that too. I'm going to copy our little door above. So again, my OSNAP is really just making everything hard for me to click on. I'm going to disable it. And I'm making this again imprecise, but it's just for relative success. So I'm going to use scale 1D again and just sort of scale it to the approximation of this one. And then again, type make hole. And that seems about right. There is one more door all the way down here. So I'm just going to orthogonally copy it down. Where are you? This is about right. So I copied the rectangle down here, and now again, I'm going to type make hole, and there's my door. So now what all of you guys have to do for the next part is the remaining facades. And again, just as general as I had shown earlier. I'm going to, and it's pretty basic, right? This line of material will always go around the entire building. The windows will always be at this height. The only thing that changes are these sizes. So I can go ahead and copy and rotate and move them here. So again, sorry that the bitmap makes it hard to see, but I have essentially trying to line up this hole to this window. I'm going to scale 1D. I'm going to turn back on my O-snaps. And I'm just going to copy because it's fine. It's a general idea. Here's another door. We'll do that later. Window. 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 And window. Go back to my perspective view. I now have all these windows. I can grab them all. Type make whole. And there's all my windows. So it wasn't really this time-consuming event. I just copied in general and placed them and made whole. So that's what you want to do for the rest of the building. And then on the next, oh, and last but not least, the easiest way to get a roof on here, because you do want them to be separate elements as we move forward and model, I'm going to just copy the floor. So grab this end, grab the floor, type copy, grab this base corner, and then copy it to the top. And then you have your roof. So that's the next part of this assignment. And we'll discuss the rest of it in class on Tuesday. Make sure you save everything because it crashes sometimes. Okay.